little breath. Oh, I got it. And then we take a second breath, and at the end of it, we say, fancy.
All right, why not?
Ready? So let's start over. First breath.
Yeah.
Fancy. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So listen, man. I don't want to bullshit. I want to get straight to it. Okay? Whether people know or don't know, there's something happening right now in the state of Florida, proposed by a representative in the Florida House of Representatives named Demi Bussata. Bussata or Bussata?
Bussata.
Whatever.
Like burrata.
Whatever, right? Which is an amendment to a bill called 535. This proceeding is, has a potential huge impact on the service industry. So let's just get into it.
Welcome to Fancy Bread. I'm Adrian.
I'm Ed.
And today we want to talk about this HB 535.
Right.
However, originally, focus was to make it easier for business owners to remove non-paying patrons from their restaurants or hotels. Think of it as a hotel guest overstaying or dine-in dashers, people who dine and don't pay. Now, the problem with this bill is that piggybacking on it with a very big lack of transparency or spotlight, they're trying to introduce another amendment to that bill, and that is no more service charge in Florida, except if it's a party of 6 or more. Now, I want to be very clear on something. Florida would be the first of all 50 states to ban service charge. The only similarities would be DC. They didn't take service charge, but they're trying to work on a minimum wage salary for restaurant and people from the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
However, it has yet to succeed. They've been working on it for years. And if there's someone from our listeners that would like to come in and tell us a little bit about what's going on in the sea, hey, shoot us in the comments, shoot us a DM, let us know. We'd love to have you on the show, even by Zoom call. So before we move on with breaking this down and kind of explaining the things that this bill is trying to achieve, which in a way restaurants already do operate in such a way, this quote that I'm not really fond of, and that is, the just pay for the wicked. And it is very unfortunate that because something that happened to you in one situation makes you feel like you have to change everything for everyone. And there's no one solution fits all.
Right.
I think that if you really want to be responsible, you can definitely work this in a way that it truly affects those who are doing wrong. Obviously, I understand that a lot of people in the United States are fed up and upset with the whole tipping culture of, did you like this show? Why don't you, and tip? It's getting out of hand. So I understand if you want to target that. But we work in fine dining. And in fine dining, service charge was actually added or introduced because patrons wouldn't pay the amount that they were supposed to, right? And you would say, oh yeah, but maybe my server didn't pick up the napkin when he needed to pick up the napkin. Everything else was perfect, but because he didn't pick up the napkin. Or, oh my God, I could have used a little bit more of a little refill on water and I waited a little minute. So I know my server was busy, but I think that should be enough for me to say, I'm not going to tip today, right?
Right. Right. Or if you woke up and you stubbed your toe and there was a lot of traffic on the way to work and you're just angry, right? Your perception becomes reality. You might walk into a restaurant and be like, oh, I don't like it here. You'll eat and you'll drink. Oh, no, I'm just not in a good mood today or some shit, right? Because we're talking specifically that this bill, one of the things it's proposing is for opting out of the service charge for no reason whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So you can eat, you can say, listen, I don't want to pay the service charge, and you don't have to give a reason. And the ironic thing about that is You already can do this.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. A lot of what's pissing me off a lot about this bill is that it's out of touch, and which we will get into. But speaking specifically about offering diners the right to opt out with no explanation given is already something diners can do.
Yeah.
You can already go to a restaurant in Miami, say, I don't want to pay the service charge, and you don't have to pay it, right? Worst case scenario, you might go to a restaurant and they'll be like, listen, okay, your service charge is $40, for example. Hey, listen, man, we can't take that service charge off. It complicates a lot of things for us. But here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to take $40 off of your bill, and we'll call it square. I don't really see how that's a problem for anyone. So obviously everyone will be like, you know what, fine, that's okay. But you can already do this. So that goes to show you how out of touch this bill is with the real world of restaurants. It's completely out of touch. And I really don't understand how a room full of intelligent people, elected officials, can really propose a bill like this and no one can be like, yo, they could do that already, couldn't they? Yeah. Well, that anyways, what's next?
Another thing that she mentions is that, hopefully this will help with payment transparency and raising the minimum wage. What would be the minimum wage for a fine dining restaurant server?
It's dumb.
Like,
Bro,
really? Because here's the thing. There's a lot of industries, not just hospitality, right, that rely on tips. And let's not necessarily call them tips. It's a commission. Because one thing that people fail to remember is that although restaurants are offering a service, we are a business as hospitality. The same way that you go and buy a car, and when you buy a car, there's a commission for the person that sold you that car. If you buy a house, there's a commission for the realtor and the listing agent as well. Are you also gonna complain and say, oh no, when I buy a house, that person didn't answer the call when I call at 2 a.m. to make sure that answer that was, and then I don't want to pay for that commission? No. So our tip, our service charge is our commission. It's the way that it operates.
Right. So it's a slippery slope is what you're saying. You're saying it'll empower people who want to be, sort of like compulsive. And just to simplify the issue, right? You're given Karens and Kens. I think that's the male version of Karen.
Is it? Interesting.
Who the fuck knows, right? You're given a Karen or a Ken empowerment to, on a whim, say, I don't want to pay for this service charge. And it's like, it really angers me because, like, think of it this way. I've heard 100 times people say, oh, there's already a service charge on my bill. So that gives the server no motivation to work hard. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Ever. Because think about this, genius. All right, right? If you have a service charge on a bill, then that would mean that I would have to work harder. And I do. Because I don't want to make you feel that because there's already a service charge on the bill, I'm just chilling. No. What am I going to do? I'm going to work to the point where you say, I see why this service charge is here. I got served very well tonight. It all makes sense. Now, at your discretion, you could tip extra, and we'll get into that. But that service charge on that check is earned. That service charge on that check makes the restaurant harder to work at because I need to bust my ass so that you don't say to yourself, yo, I didn't get taken care of tonight. And why would I? There's service charges on there already. See, my point is a lot of this I feel like is being proposed by idiots, like dumb, like Demi Burrata, whatever the fuck your name is. Like she said one thing that did raise a red flag for me. Right? She said that she went to a restaurant in Miami and she got a merchant copy to sign. Merchant copy, like no itemized bill. And she asked for the itemized bill, and on the itemized bill, it said that she was getting charged a service charge, a gratuity, and she was given an option to give an extra tip. Where the fuck was she eating?
Right?
What restaurant have you been to where they include a service charge and a gratuity? Now, if that's true, that's greedy as fuck.
Yeah.
If that's true, that's wrong. That should not happen. At the most on a bill, there should be, if there's an automatic payment, it should be a service charge, and there should be a line where it says additional tip.
Correct.
Additional tip. And it's very clear. I'll be real with you. I hate that it says additional tip, but it should say additional tip, right? Because then at least that brings a bell up, and you're like, okay, what do you mean additional?
Yeah,
right.
But let's talk about transparency, right? Because they
dumb,
say
bro.
this will bring transparency, right? When you go to a fine dining restaurant and you make a reservation, they'll send you a text saying, don't wear this is the timing, et cetera, et cetera. There's rules and guidelines for you to follow in that text. Some restaurants also add there's a service charge included. When you walk into a restaurant, in the menu it says a service charge will be included to your check. We are being transparent. Also, as servers, we are asked to say a service charge is included. Anything else is additional. Goes to your server. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Well, we don't say it. You want to know why we don't say it? Because it's plastered all over the goddamn menu, and it's plastered on your bill, all over the place.
Yeah.
This is another case.
If you don't want to read your check, that's
right.
Up
Exactly.
to you.
Exactly. Right. So you think you're gonna come to a restaurant I work at. All right, I'm gonna bust my ass to give you sharp ass service, and then you're gonna tip, and then you're gonna get upset because you didn't know there was a service charge included, and I'm supposed to lose sleep over that. Why don't you just read the check? All right, genius. Again, this seems to me like a case of people who are completely out of touch with the industry in a room making a decision together because one fucking broad was like, oh yeah, listen, I got charged this, and that, and now she wants to cry about it. To me, it just sounds like you're being cheap. To me, it just sounds like you're being real fucking cheap, okay? You know what I do if I can't afford to go eat?
I stay home.
I stay the fuck home.
Yeah.
I stay home. This is why this show is called Fancy Bread Miami and not Fancy Bread Tallahassee. Because who the fuck wants to go to Tallahassee, right? Right? You go to Tallahassee to fish and because you're a student at Florida University.
I'm sorry,
right?
Tallahassee.
That's all you got over there, right? Of course you're in your courthouse or wherever the fuck you are. You're building in Tallahassee, making these rules about Miami. Because nobody wants to be in Tallahassee, right? People want to be in Miami. Why do they want to be in Miami? Because they want to see beautiful people. They want to go to the beach. They want to hear the roar of an exotic car's exhaust blow past them. And they want to go to flashy, high-end restaurants.
And have a great fucking time.
And have a good time, right? Why aren't people flocking to Tallahassee? Or the only person I know who lives in Ocala is John Travolta. Like, the rest of Florida is what it is. Miami is Miami. So you want to come to Miami, what do we always say? If you want to stay,
you gotta
pay. You got to pay. So you want to come here, you want to feel the flash, you want to see the people, you want to go to the beach, you want to hear the music, see the cars, all the beautiful Art Deco, and then go to a beautiful restaurant and not pay for it? That doesn't sound really realistic to me.
Yeah. I think of it like a stock. You know that they say that whenever you lose 15%, you leave. When you gain 50%, you leave. Like some people do that. That's like the safe margin.
Right.
We're talking about possibility of about 50% change in a fine dining server salary.
Right.
So who's going to serve in a fine dining establishment? You think I'm going to go there and welcome you in? And I want to give you an example. Recently, I started, letting my beard go, right? And because of the show, I wanted to make sure that I look good for you. I want to make sure I look my best for you, right? And every time I started going to a barbershop close by, and they charge $20 to do the beard, right?
Yeah.
The first time I went, I've been there 3 times. First time I went, this guy made a great job. However, it was painful. However, guy did a great job. I got into it. Second time I went there.
You look fantastic.
Thank you. Second time I went there, I had a different person. And the guy, he even put the chair back, gave me the hot towel, a bunch of stuff, right?
I see where you're going with this.
Right? And then I was like, wow. However, the skill, although he did extra stuff, the skill that he showed wasn't as sharp as the other guy.
Okay.
Third time I said, I'm actually going to shave myself because $20 every time I go out there, it's a little hard, right? However, when I went there today, I said to myself, you know what? I also recognize that these two individuals have their own set of skills that they themselves bring to the table to make sure that they themselves also get a little extra.
Yeah.
Right? So today I went in, and the guy that is sharp but painful, I got him today, and I said, you know what? At least I'm going to look fucking sharp today. And after the guy was done, it was $20. I gave $25. Because at this point, I realized, damn, this guy is good.
Yeah.
This guy is doing something. I mean, it might not be the most luxurious experience, right?
Right.
But this guy is good. And if I go to the other guy, I'll probably tip $5 as well because I said, damn, this guy made me feel great.
Yeah.
Right? So tipping originally, and this goes back, like way back, obviously. Some people say medieval times. Some people say, old Europe. Obviously, in the United States, there's a lot of controversy behind it because it was actually put in place so that business owners wouldn't have to pay slaves a fair wage. So it started being a thing of them gaining or earning that throughout their service. And with the opportunity to make more, right? Because I'm paid to do my job, which is welcome in. What can I get you? I'm rewarded to do an exceptional service, to say, good evening, Miss Bussata. Glad to have you here with us. Let me walk you through our menu. Can I get you something to drink to start? This will match your blah, blah, blah. This will go well with that. What are you in the mood for today? All that, that's me being extra. Because here's the thing. Are you also going to go to the barbershop now and say, oh, now the barbershop service, everybody's got to be sharp. Everybody's got to do the hot towel. And you're all going to be paid $20. Is that, or are you going to do $25 for everybody and then their originality, their extraness, are you going to take that off? It's part of service. What makes service great is the opportunity for the guest to say, wow, that went above and beyond.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that in a way, you want to gain control of that. And that's where the problem lies. Because, like I said, originally service charge was introduced in Florida because, well, we have a lot of people, because again, everybody wants to be in Miami. And people that come in Miami are from all over the world and places that they don't necessarily tip, but it is in our culture. It is why our service, it's better than a lot of people's service because it gets to be extra. It gets to be tailored. It gets to be personal. It gets to be profound. And you want to take that away?
Yeah, good luck.
You want to take that? You really expect to go to a restaurant.
Good luck.
And then say, oh, you're going to get paid minimum wage and you expect to get this mile?
Well, I mean, yeah. So, Adrian has his own very, very fun way of describing that. I'll keep it very plain, right?
Please.
So you want to take away a server's incentive to do a phenomenal job and get paid very well, relatively. Who the fuck's going to serve you? Who's going to serve you?
I'm not.
Good luck, right? Good luck. See, that's the thing about service.
That's why you can't have nice things.
That's why you can't have nice things, because somebody always fucks something up, right? So good luck. Good luck going to a high-end restaurant in Florida and getting fantastic service, right? Because I guarantee you this. Great service is one of those things that you get used to, you get spoiled by, but as soon as you get that shit taken away from you, you're going to start crying. You're going to start complaining. You're not going to like eating out as much because the server doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Right? Because you order one dish and a server who's got their shit together would be like, yo, listen, you need this wine with this because it pairs well. I understand the flavor profiles. I understand the terroir. I understand how this wine is grown. I understand why it goes with this. And this is one tiny example. And then when you drink that wine, all of that server's experience pays off to enhance your dining experience. So good luck. Good luck, honestly. Good luck getting that level of service and attention to detail and benefiting from a server's experience when they're getting paid lousy. No server. How do you get good servers to work at a restaurant? You give them the potential to earn well. And that's a very important word. You give them the potential to earn well because they need to earn it. But basically what you're doing is you're creating a scenario where they're not going to get paid as well as they deserve to get paid. All right? It's like one of the dumbest things about this bill is saying that tables of 6 or less don't have to pay a service charge. The majority of the goddamn tables that come to a restaurant are less than 6 people.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. So you're saying is that the majority of the people that come to a restaurant should not have a service charge on their checks. So then what ends up happening, right? Then people try to get cute because people aren't stupid, but they're cheap, right?
Yep.
So people will come from Europe, right? And they'll come and then I know a lot of people, a lot of Europeans that are in tune with what's happening with this bill, whoever they might be.
You all know how tipping works in the United States.
Right.
You all know.
Right. They might be saying to themselves, oh, I like this shit. I like it, right? Which is dumb because you don't pay for a service charge or tips in Europe, wherever the hell you're from, right? But Miami's not Europe, right? It's not Europe. What do I do when I have the opportunity and the ability to travel internationally? I love to eat. I love to tip well. But I say to myself, you know what? Maybe where I'm going, things are different. So let me find out how it is there. I'm going to Asia. Hey, let me speak to some people who have been or speak to some people who are from there. What's the tipping culture in this place I'm going to? Oh, it's actually considered offensive to tip in this Asian country. Hey, no problem. And I don't sneer and go, oh, good, cheaper for me. No, I say to myself, let me be appropriate.
Yes.
Right? So
a good guest.
Let me be a good guest. So you come to America, you don't pay a service charge, you're not going to tip. So what's going to happen? I'm going to get fired from every job I work at because it's a Saturday night, a 7 top of fucking Europeans walk into the restaurant, and I'm going to look at my GM and go, I'm not taking care of that fucking table because I'm not going to bust my ass for these know-it-alls and then not get tipped. Hell no. You
because,
go take care
because
of
they're going to say, oh, I didn't like the light of the restaurant, or I didn't like the way that I was greeted at the door.
Right.
Whatever it may be.
Right, because the table of 6, right? Because this table is going to be like, no, I don't want to pay for this, right? And then I have to, walk out looking like an idiot, making no money. No. You're good at something, you should get paid for it.
Exactly.
If you're good at what you do, you should deserve to get compensated for it. And if anyone is in this city and they work at a high-end restaurant and they know what the hell they're talking about, they know how to take care of their guests, they deserve the potential to get paid well.
Now, what are some of the potential motivators to this? I got one good and one bad.
Talk to me.
Because obviously, let's try to be fair, right?
Does my anger? Are you picking up on my anger during
Oh
this?
yeah, I'm fair. I feel it.
I feel like it's palpable.
It's transparent.
It makes me angry, bro.
But it is an upsetting part because you're actually affecting our livelihood.
It makes me real angry.
Who's gonna come show up to work? So let's talk about a positive, which hasn't been mentioned, right? And maybe this is just me, reaching and giving you a little olive branch, and that is because obviously Mr. President wants to take taxes off tips, and if you take off the service charge and bring back tips, then that would mean that everything that you get tipped on is tax-free.
Yep.
Now, that could be an olive branch again, but have you even mentioned that? No. Hasn't been said anywhere. So maybe not. Now, on the potential bad motivators, I understand that people have a desire to have control. It's like I recently saw this video, which not sure if it's true or not. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. That in an elevator, when you go in and you hit the button that says close, the one that button doesn't really do anything. It's there to give you the illusion of control.
I press that button all the time.
Everybody presses it because it makes you feel more in control. But the button doesn't do anything. It's like when you go to, it's called security theater. It's like when you go to a restaurant and it says sign here. You can just write a line and a squiggly line and you're good to go. No one's gonna call the bank and say, is that Miss Bussata's signature? The squiggly line? Yeah, that's it. It's like no one. That's theater. It's not real. So I understand that you want to say to yourself, I want to be the one that says service was great. I'm going to give them 10%, 50%, 20%, whatever it is. You want to have that control. But now I say to you, let's flip it. The just pay for the wicked. If all of you knew how to tip, we wouldn't be having this discussion at all. But clearly, because this happened, especially during the time of COVID, where people were like, trying to pinch pennies and such, it's the situation that we ended up in. Let's talk about some possible scenarios, right? So I'm going to throw option number 1. We take off service charge and we go back to tipping. What do we fix? Is that going to mean that people are going to tip more, tip less? Mm-hmm. Again, we instated this because people were tipping a lot less. And if you really want to make sure that you have quality service, you need to make sure that your staff is paid. It's as simple as that. So let's do option number 2. Fix hourly. But when have you ever, as a server, had the same amount you made in different months? Like, do you make the same you make in January that you make in February?
Never.
The same you make in March? The same
Never.
you make Never. So how would it work for a business to pay me hourly more and charging it on the menu and then still give me a livable wage? It's impossible for you to get to that number. So a fixed hourly in a sales-driven environment, impossible, inconsistent. So again, another option that just goes out the window. Option number 3, a fixed hourly and guests still live tips. It's like a 3-way system, a menage a trois, right? Yes, guests pay a little extra on their check or for their items if that's really what you want. I mean, if you really want to have a $60 steak or you want to pay a $100 steak, still the same again because you're still paying the same. It's just the illusion of that button. And let's say a part of it goes to pay your server a better wage, which still to this day, I don't know how much I get by the hour because that's how little it matters how much I get paid by the hour.
It's
all commission based.
It's inconsequential.
I still don't know how much I get paid by the hour.
Right.
And then on top of that, then another way that it could be added is commissions based by the restaurant. Right. Let's say your restaurant says, I want all of you to sell more of this steak and more of this fish and more of this chicken. So every time you sell that, there's a $2 surcharge added to the price that goes to the person that sold it. And that's another way for incentivizing the server, which again, it already happens because of the service charge. Because if I'm selling you a more expensive item,
bigger service charge.
It's commission based. And then still you leave in tips. Again, it's all redundant. It's the same. It's just written differently.
How it makes you feel.
Like how it makes you feel.
I got one.
Go for it.
So part of the bill says that they want a breakdown of how the service charge works and where the service charge goes. Fantastic. So that means that on a service charge, and I don't know if this is exactly how they're proposing they want it, but from my interpretation, instead of getting a bill that says, you got this chicken, you got this fish, you got this beef, here's a service charge, do you want it to say, 20% service charge. 5% of this service charge goes to, et cetera. 4% of the service charge go to et cetera, and et cetera, et cetera. So are you saying that on that transparency, it's going to say how much of that service charge goes to me? Because if that's the case, then this is check fucking mate.
Yeah.
If that's the case, this is checkmate. Because then this is going to be the same person that's going to be like, oh, this is the best steak I've had in a long time. Wow, our server's phenomenal. Thank you so much, right? Can I speak to your manager? Your manager comes over. Hey, this guy, unbelievable at his job, right? And then on your bill, it's going to say 2% of that 20% goes to me. So what happens now?
Are you going to tip extra?
What happens now? Are you going to tip extra? Remember, one of the best steaks you ever had, some of the best service you ever had. So what happens now? Because they make a case to say that service charge is not gratuity, okay? Service charge is something that is on your bill, and gratuity or a tip is anything you leave of your own volition. So on that service charge, it says, I only get 2% of that tip, of that service charge goes to me. What happens now?
Yeah.
Are you going to tip me the money I deserve for for being a vital part of your fantastic dining experience? Right? Or are you going to be a cheap fuck and walk out? Because now we put it all on the table. Now we put it on the table. I don't have this problem. Because again, like I said, if I can't afford to tip, I don't go out. Because I think it's an integral part of the cycle of good vibes and good karma and good experiences to give what I want to get. Right? To me, again, it just sounds like you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. To me, it sounds like you're used to different kinds of restaurants, and that's okay. But just stay in your lane.
You know what I would like for them?
Stay in your lane, bro. Don't do it to yourself.
You know what I would say? If you really want to pass this bill, everyone that votes yes before you do so, you got to work in a restaurant. Let's see if after you put all of your effort and taking care of this barrage of different clients, ethnicities, cultures, et cetera, et cetera. Right. And then you work your ass off to bring that bill up, because it's not the same a 20% on a $100 check versus a 20% on a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 check.
Yeah, because that's the thing,
Let's see you put in your best effort out there, looking good, paying money to look good. And then you're going to go to that table, and then they'll be like, oh, no, she brushed me off when I called her because she was too busy taking care of whatever reason it may be. Let's see you do that.
You're living in a different world.
And then feel free to vote yes.
You're living in a different world, right? To me, it sounds like you're angry because you got charged a service and a tip at some mom and pop place somewhere else. Like, that's not the way this works. Like, do you seriously think that I'm going to take care of a 7-top of fucking hooligans, right, who are a pain in my ass for 2.5 hours, sell the shit out of the table, have a $5,000-$6,000 check, and be there and anticipate all of their needs and be charismatic and make them laugh, even though they're a pain in my ass? And at the end of all that, they're going to walk out and not tip me? Nah.
I think it could be the dawn of angry, upset, and raw service. Right?
You're crazy.
I think if that's what you want.
You're crazy.
Right?
Because basically what I'm telling you, what you're doing is you're creating a potential situation where you're going to walk into a restaurant, because the restaurants are going to stay open, right? The owners are going to keep their restaurants open. But you're going to walk into this restaurant, you're going to get shitty service every single time. The person's not going to know what the hell they're talking about. And I guarantee you're not going to like eating out as much.
Or even worse, because here's the thing.
I'm telling you.
Restaurants, their most expensive thing to pay is labor. Nowadays, even in the service charge, there's management in service charge, there's kitchen in the service charge.
Right.
We're doing this to make sure that everyone gets a fair compensation.
That's right.
And the tip is still left there so that you can say, damn, this was amazing. I'm going to give him an extra 20, an extra 30, all this stuff, right? It's built because it works. If it doesn't work for you, then maybe the issue is you.
Yeah, somebody needs to like philosophically like bop this woman on the top of her head. Demi, whatever her name is.
Yes.
Really bop her on the top of her head and say, does this happen to a lot of people or did this happen to you? Right? Because honestly, I would love to see where this check came from, where they charged her a gratuity and a service and they gave her an option to leave even more. Because again, full discretion, full disclosure, that sounds extremely greedy to me.
Yeah.
That
Now,
sounds extremely greedy.
of course, we're open to a conversation because the reality is that who this bill affects the most is us. So this is us telling you, you are affecting us.
Right.
Right? So you're not talking to representative of this, representative. No,
Right.
We are in the front lines.
Right.
We are the ones taking care of you and everyone else. And you're telling us what you're doing is not worth that.
Right.
I mean, so if you truly believe in this cause, we invite you to join us in this table. Let's have a conversation.
I'm down to have
Anyone that wants to, please do. I would love to get someone from payroll to talk about the nightmare that this is going to be as well. I would like to talk to a general manager as well, a business owner. Let's have this conversation because something that's very an issue. This could possibly pass in July 1st, 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, this is why we're also giving this a little bit of a push. We want to make sure that everybody out there is aware. And hey, call your representatives. Call Demi and say, hey, you nuts. Hey, plan on calling.
It sounds like they're reaching. They really don't understand what's going on and how things work and, you know, what drives us to do a good job. It's just, I really don't get it.
What drives anyone to do a good job is the possible reward system. Reward systems are there for a reason. Employee of the month, little gifts, recognitions. Right. It's the way things work. Right. Again, there's so many other, even retail, good retail offers commission. That's it. So it's just we're the one industry that instead of just hiding it on the check, if that's what you want, again, it's still the same thing. And in order for us to do that, it would be way too expensive. It's tick on the game. Yes, true. People go to a restaurant and they say, "Oh, wait, there's a 20% service charge." You knew. You all come to Miami and you know what to expect. You know what it's like. It's like, why are you complaining about that?
That's
nothing says I don't tip. Because, for example, and it's again, we put this in place because nothing says I don't tip more than we're from Toronto, Canada. I'm sorry. Like whenever you ask a guest where you're from, nothing against from Toronto. We love you. Beautiful town, super cool people.
Fantastic.
But whenever you say I'm from Toronto, I say
we know you're not tipping. If you come in
and
you're not tipping.
You know our tipping policies. You know how we work, and you still don't tip.
You're not going to tip, right? Because you see that service charge and you're thankful for it because you say, "Oh, it's taken care of."
Yeah,
it's taken care of.
Yeah, he's good.
It's taken care of.
That's you. And if you don't leave extra, that's fine. At least we're taken care of. But if you take that off and you put it in the hands of people to, again, save us, come on.
Right. I think from all this, we really need to focus on the fact that people need to stop being cheap. Okay? And stay in your lane. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Well, there are many ways that you can go about this. But the reality is that in the end, it requires you, the guest, to take accountability for your own actions. If I go to a restaurant and I didn't look at the bill and I pay and leave, that's my problem. If you don't want that happening to you, then before you pay, make sure you look at your receipt. See what's in there and what's not. Be clear. Ask questions. It's there. You can, all these things that you're trying to implement, you can today deal with them. So next time, maybe consider staying home or just write a line on your check and go home. Thank you for listening.
Take care, everybody.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.